my eye. Girl, I never loved one like you.
Man, oh man, you're my best friend. I scream it too. There's nothing there ain't nothing that I need.
Well, hot and heavy pumpkin pie, chocolate candy, Jesus Christ, ain't nothing please me more than you.
Oh, let me go home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Oh, let me go home. Home is wherever I'm with you. La 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 la, take me home. Mommy, I'm coming home.
I follow you into the park, through the jungle, through the dark. Girl, I never loved one like you.
Boats and boats and waterfalls, alleyways and payphone calls. I've been everywhere with you.
That's true. Laughing till we think we're down, barefoot on the summer night. Never could be sweeter than with you.
And in the streets you run free like it's only you and me. Cheers, you're something to see. Oh, let me go home. Home is wherever I'm with you. Oh, let me go home. Home is wherever I'm with you. La 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 la, take me home. Daddy, I'm coming home.
And welcome to my video. I hope that you enjoyed my montage of Geneva. It's my hometown and the center of my project. So Geneva is a suburb about 45 minutes outside of Chicago, and which is actually one of its main appeals is that we're right off the train line, which means that visitors can easily come to and from the town, whether they're from Chicago or a neighboring suburb or one of the neighboring places within Illinois. It's an easy town to get to because the train station is in the heart of downtown, which is the main area that I showed you in the video. So the big appeal probably is the downtown area because it's a historical area. It dates back to about the 1830s. And it's where all of our restaurants and little boutiques are. So this is kind of what Geneva is known for. It's kind of what sets it apart from any competitors in the area because no other place has the little boutique, small store, community feel that we have. Neighboring places like Naperville have different organizations like a CVB or even bigger theaters that might draw people to their areas. But again, nothing really compares to the little small town feel that Geneva has that's very charming, very welcoming with its unique set of boutiques. So basically in this video, I just wanted to show you kind of the main parts that I think are worth mentioning about Geneva. Of course, we have the organizations that support tourism in the area, which are the Geneva Chamber of Commerce and City of Geneva. And up next, I'll show you a little bit about them and about their websites and what they have to offer, as well as the festivals are probably, again, one of the biggest appeal of Geneva, in addition to just its infrastructure of having a historical district. The festivals bring in people from all over. So I talk a little bit about those just to give you a look at why those are so important and what they're like. And basically, yeah, I hope this video just shows you what Geneva is like and why it's such an important tourist destination for the suburbs of Chicago. Geneva has two very important governmental or semi-governmental organizations that help to run tourism and make sure that there are funds and services being allocated to support tourism. The first is the City of Geneva, which is the governmental municipality of Geneva. That, of course, is a government institution as well as another organization that supports tourism by advertising and getting the word out about attractions and events. So here we have the City of Geneva seal. So this is the seal of Geneva and, of course, the logo for the City of Geneva municipality. And over here we have the logos of the Chamber of Commerce. And the Chamber of Commerce is probably the more tourist-based organization. It does most of the advertising for tourism and events, as well as it receives funds from the City of Geneva to advertise and to put on events and to make sure that the small businesses have what they need to support tourism and support business. So this is just the Geneva Chamber of Commerce, and up here we have the Geneva, Illinois, a picture postcard, which is the current logo and campaign of Geneva to kind of emphasize the fact that Geneva is a very scenic, picturesque, charming town. That's how a lot of people like to think of it. So a picture postcard is the current campaign of Geneva to kind of keep this image alive and to kind of support tourism as advertising Geneva as being this unique, charming, historical, picture-perfect town. So on Geneva Chamber of Commerce's website, you can see that all of the most important aspects of the town are highlighted. So you can visit the festivals and events pages to learn more about the annual festivals and events that happen pretty much every year. And then shopping and dining, of course, is all of the opportunities that Geneva has for boutique shopping as well as name brand shopping. And of course, our restaurants and bars. And lodging gives you information on the hotels and other lodging options for you when you're visiting. And of course, under Out and About, you can learn more about recreation activities, entertainment venues, museums, and tours. And under My Hometown, a really cool part of the website is that it gives you a brief history of Geneva, which dates back to the 1830s, which is super interesting, and definitely gives you kind of an insight look into why Geneva is so unique, because it has such a rich history that's very different from all the neighboring towns. So, City of Geneva has its own website that not only highlights Geneva's attractions, but of course gives you information on city government, the different divisions of the government, who does what, city council, city departments, and it even gives information on the environmental stewardship and sustainability efforts that Geneva is partnering with other cities to promote. So again, under Explore Geneva, just like the Chamber of Commerce's website, you can learn more about the attractions Geneva offers, events that are happening currently. You can access a map and different business directories to kind of find out what it is that you're looking for in the town, as well as lodging accommodations, dining opportunities, and then of course, if you are wishing to have an event or a meeting somewhere within Geneva, you can visit the meeting and event planning page to learn more about venues and how you can get that scheduled within Geneva. The festivals of Geneva are definitely one of its biggest appeals. Festivals happen year-round, and they've kind of become a staple of Geneva as people within Geneva, but also in neighboring communities and even in different parts of the Midwest, come to Geneva for these festivals that occur every year and offer a variety of experiences, opportunities for shopping, eating, amusement, you name it. So up here we have Festival of the Vine, which is a festival centered around wine tasting, obviously for older adults of the town. Down here we have a little sample of the different boutiques and street vendors that you might see really at any of the festivals, but I'd say mainly at Swedish Days, which you can see pictured up here. Swedish Days is my personal favorite. It's a carnival, but it also, again, you can shop along the main street there to get a feel for what the different boutiques are, as well as, of course, eating at any of the restaurants and the street vendors. And what's cool about Swedish Days is that it's actually a way that Geneva stays involved in the community as well, because it only allows nonprofits within the community to have stands to be vendors at the event. So businesses that are outside of local nonprofits are not allowed to set up booths. And then down here we have the art festival. You can see, I think I also featured this in the Welcome to Geneva video that I made, but the art festival, pretty self-explanatory, just features different artists that are looking to sell their products. I went to it this last year and I've been to it in the past, and it's always a really cool event to see the different artists that come from all over to show their artwork. And then, of course, down at the bottom, we have the Geneva Christmas Walk. And the Geneva Christmas Walk is probably the staple festival of Geneva. Like I said, people from all over the Midwest will come to visit and walk along 3rd Street, I'm sorry, to look at the Christmas tree. Here we have, the horse carriages. But there's a Christmas tree, there's carolers, there's all sorts of different sweets being sold for the Christmas season. And there's also actually local houses will be asked to decorate their house and be given really extravagant decorations to decorate their house for the Christmas walk. And this was actually featured on Ellen, which is something I find really cool. But I think it just goes to show how important this festival is for us. And people who grew up in Geneva and went off to college or moved away come back every year to visit and to see the Christmas tree being lit up and eat all the treats and see all the houses decorated for Christmas. To begin concluding my presentation and everything I've talked about, I think, it's easy to tell Geneva is a very vibrant, alive, and successful town, and I think the same goes for its tourism industry. There's definitely no shortage of attractions in Geneva, no shortage of things to do, whether you are a visitor coming for the first time or a resident who's been here since the beginning. So I think it is a very sustainable industry because of its infrastructures. Of course, the downtown historic area is its biggest appeal, its biggest infrastructure or facility for tourism. So that keeps it alive, as well as the train is a very accessible and easy way for commuters and people visiting to hop off the train, visit Geneva, and just hop back on and go home. So those, as far as infrastructures, those will definitely keep the industry sustainable and keep it successful, as well as, of course, its boutiques and restaurants are a huge part of the industry, and those have been successful for so long. And with that being said, I think it is important to look at the fact that older generations of Genevans are the people who either run these establishments or shop at these establishments or visit these restaurants. So I think there is something to be said for kind of shifting tourism towards now marketing a younger generation. Even though a large demographic of Geneva's population is younger and younger families, I think still there's a need to draw younger people into shopping and eating downtown because sometimes the pricing draws or discourages people from visiting, and it's sometimes the reputation is just that it's geared towards an older crowd. So I think it's important to continue targeting advertising and marketing strategies towards people who are maybe college age or just out of college, kind of in that in-between phase, and still targeting the younger families that live here now to kind of encourage them to keep coming back and take away the stigma that those boutiques and stuff are only for older generations who have been shopping there for years. So I think that is one area that could improve and would definitely help tourism within the area. But other than that, again, I think it's a very sustainable industry. As I said, the infrastructures keep it socially active, very vibrant, and the environmental efforts that I talked about before really help to make sure that Geneva's keeping up with its neighboring communities in supporting a more sustainable atmosphere. And as far as economically, of course, the boutiques and the restaurants and even the shopping that is outside of the historic district in outside or neighboring malls on Geneva's main roads keep Geneva very economically sustainable, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. So I think all in all, Geneva is a great town. It's a great place for families to live and for people to visit. And I think as long as it maintains the same charm, beauty, and history that it's been advertising for years, I think that it will continue to be a very successful tourist destination. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed learning about Geneva as much as I did.